James Reveller finished fastest in his qualifying group and fastest overall by 0.4 of a second. He starts on pole position for this first A final. Richard Ward headed the first group and takes grid 2. Freddie Gallagher is joined by Greg Aaron on row 2. Luke Cousins is joined by the returning Rhys Terry on row 3. Glenn Beard and Keith Segal, probably Keith's best qualifying of the season, on row 4. Miguel Hall, a winner of the first final of the season here in February, and David Longman are on row 5. 4B qualifiers make it 24 on the grid. Look out for car 66, James de Havilland, the 2010 Easy Kart Cadet champion and Birrell Works driver. Some might say he's slumming it in Club 100 on grid 17. We'd say it's just good training for the most competitive kart class in the UK. Green light and we're racing, and Freddie Gallagher was not close enough to James Reveller, and that's allowed Greg Aaron to move across from grid 4 to take third. Sweeping through Conways for the first time, and Aaron now trying to go for second place, easing Richard Ward out the way. You can't turn in Richard if there's a kart there. Gallagher's got the position back though from Aaron. Rhys Terry in 5th place. Lauren Lassalle trying to hold off Glenn Beard. James de Havilland's got ahead of Julian Clist in the midfield. Sweeping through the S's, through Symes Sweep into Pullman's, and then trying to hold it up on the brakes at Paddock. And Glenn Beard's looking to the inside of Lassalle. Can he get it done? We're on board with Miguel Hall. He's got the inside track on Keith Segal. There's contact, but that seems pretty fair to me. So Reveller, Ward, gap then to Gallagher, Aaron, gap to Rhys Terry, gap to Luke Cousins, Miguel Hall, Keith Segal, Lauren Lassalle, Glenn Beard is 10th. Tom Powell on the right, we're riding with Rihanna Percox. That bumper you can see is James de Havilland looking to the inside of turn 1, but Rihanna's having nothing of it and tips in. Battle for 10th place, David Longman in the blue, down the inside of Lauren Lassalle. On board with Aaron McClure, that's Andrew Green on the outside. Eric Mignon behind in kart number 2. Off the corner, looks as though Lassau's got the spot. No, Andrew Green's forced the issue and has gone through, and Lassau's run Aaron McClure into the tyres. Well, he's all right, only his pride is hurt. Oh, 37 was Daniel Truman trying to go down the inside at Paddock. I think he's got the spot he wanted. 3-4 wide, contrasting lines, lots of elbows. We're coming round to finish lap 2. And it looks fairly frantic at the back of the field here. James de Havilland's getting a baptism of fire. That's Kenan Vedat ahead of Julian Clist, and then James Beyond. Your race leader, James Reveller, Richard Ward, Freddie Gallagher, Greg Aaron, Rhys Terry, Luke Cousins, Glenn Beard ahead of Keith Segal, and David Longman. Back on board with Percox, that's Eric Mignon ahead of us, sweeping into Pullman's. Down at Paddock, looking for that run to get a run down the inside at Garda. Harrison Darville goes to cover Eric Mignon. This is a 16-lap final. We're moving on to lap 4, and there's a penalty board there. Not sure who that is for. You can hazard your own guess and look at the results later. On board with Percox, now we cut back to Beard. Beard up to 9th, Keith Segal in the orange in 10th. James Reveller was 3/10 of a lap faster than Richard Ward on that last lap. We've got a leading group of 7, pulling clear from the rest of the field. We're on board with 7th place Miguel Hall, using all the track and a little bit more that he probably shouldn't. Percox trying to close on Mignon. She's got a good run into Paddock. Aaron McClure is running again. I think he's been into pits to effect some kind of repair or change karts. Looking over his shoulder, Rhys Terry. Good qualifying for Rhys Terry and a good return to lightweight action. Mignon runs wide and Percox picks up the spot on the exit, possibly with a little bit of assistance. Reveller, Ward, Gallagher under pressure from Aaron. Rhys Terry now coming under a lot of pressure from Luke Cousins. Kenan Vedat up to 20th place and ahead of Julian Clist. Sweeping through Symes. Back on board with Clist. Vedat ahead of us. They're trying to run down Chris Scivier. James de Havilland. Oscar John Cook out of the B final, going past Tom Powell. Freddie Gallagher, oh, he's made a mistake into turn 1, and Greg Aaron's gone through. Aaron was on the podium here back in February, and he's looking to get back on it again. He's in third place at the moment. Gallagher takes a look over his shoulder and he'll see Rhys Terry in fifth place. Luke Cousins beyond. Tom Powell, James de Havilland. Kenan Vedat in his Ayrton Senna replica. Through the S's. Back to the leading group. Although, to be honest, James Reveller is checking out. He's certainly looking comfortable. 1.1 seconds in the lead. Tom Powell leaning in and on Kenan Vedat. Not sure that was actually fair. Oh, and Kenan Vedat has pushed Tom Powell off the circuit. I can see Nicky Richardson observing down the bottom on the radio. There's a warning flag gone out at start-finish for this group. Clist looking to the inside. Can he get it done? Oh, he goes in deep on Skivier, and Skivier will have the spot back on the exit. Aaron McClure spinning out. Well, he's over a lap down. Best to just keep out the way, Aaron. Coming round a complete lap 7. James Reveller's lead is out to 2 seconds on Richard Ward. He's got the best part of a second on Greg Aaron. Freddie Gallagher 4/10 off the back of Greg Aaron. Lots of little personal dices. Oh, Kenan Vedat leaning in on Daniel Truman. And Truman not very impressed with that. Miguel Hall trying to find a way past Luke Cousins. He was ahead. Ooh, side by side through the S's. Good move from Luke Cousins. Percox. That's Lasaw ahead of us. Getting ahead of Harrison Darville. She picks up another spot. Back to Andrew Green from a long way back on Keith Segal. Didn't work, and he's lost a few kart lengths off the corner as well. Into the second half of this 16-lap final. Skivvy to the inside of Kenan Vedat. Ben Knighton in the mix as well, ahead of Julian Clist. Tom Powell on the back of that group in 23rd and effectively last place, with Aaron McClure spinning out. He's still running, but he's at least 2 laps down. Miguel Hall on the bumper of Luke Cousins through Symes sweep, losing a kart length, but he's really setting up for Pullmans and Paddock, and a run to Garda. Oh, Rhys Terry went deep into Paddock, and that's opened the door for Luke Cousins. Pushes the door open. Now, is there a chance here for Miguel Hall? Rhys Terry needs to get back on it. End of another lap. They're on to their 10th lap of this 16-lap final. James Reveller's lead is now 2.5 seconds, and here comes Miguel Hall. Oh, Rhys Terry tried to turn in. Miguel Hall was already there. I'll be surprised if Hall picks up a penalty for that one. Clist looking to the inside of Tom Powell into turn 1. Powell's run wide. The position is Julian's. The race leader looking comfortable, cruising. Remember, fastest lap times in this final set the grid for the second final, so you can't ease off. You're still looking for fast laps. Greg Aaron's mistake at Paddock is going to be punished by Freddie Gallagher. Runs him out wide, but gives him the inside of Senna. Up Herbert's rise, Cafe Curve. Gallagher in the slipstream. Is he close enough to throw one down the inside of turn 1? Well, he took a look over his shoulder to see where Luke Cousins was. More conscious of losing time. And ground to Cousins. Now he's back on it. Turning in. Nice late apex. You saw him gain ground on Greg Aaron, who missed his apex. Darville's retaken 12th place from Percox. Andrew Green and Lauren Lasaw are going hammer and tongs over 10th place. Oscar John Cook being pushed past almost by James de Havilland. And there's more contact with Daniel Truman into the S's. Battle for 7th place. Glenn Beard down the inside of David Longman at Garda. Reveller crosses start-finish. Kart sounded a bit loud there. And he's lost 0.6 of a second to Richard Ward on that lap. Have to keep an eye on that one. We're on lap 12 of 16. Back to Freddie Gallagher, still trying to close in on Greg Aaron. Aaron taking a wide line into hairpin 2 for a late apex. Ooh, he was a little bit wide there. And that invited in Freddie Gallagher, who once again looks over his shoulder to see where Luke Cousins is. And Cousins this time is closing in. Miguel Hall not far away. And here comes Gallagher. Gallagher's got a great run out of paddock and he's through at guard. A good move from Freddie. Andrew Green down the inside of Keith Segal. Can he get it done? Yes, he has. I think that's barely legal. Keith trying to turn in. Andrew gave him room on the exit of Senna. He's gone through, and we're back with Rhianna Percox on the bumper of Lauren Lassault. So this time it's Freddie Gallagher running wide in hairpin 1, opening up the door on Greg Aaron for Luke Cousins, who's got the momentum into the S's. It's Aaron just hanging on, and he comes home with a run down inside Sam sweep. Well, sensibly, Luke Cousins gave him some room, and look at that, Richard Ward has pulled up on the bumper of James Reveller. In the closing stages, Hall down the inside of Luke Cousins. Has he got the position? I think he has, yes he has. Miguel Hall moves in to 5th place. And look at this, Richard Ward on the bumper. He's taken 1.5 seconds out of James Reveller on that last lap. Now can we see what's going on with James? His cart sounds a bit off. And he appears to be carrying his airbox in his lap. It just rolled out of his lap, and you can see he's carrying it now, one-handed. This is not easy to do. I famously once saw Trevor Randall drive an endurance stint at Spa in Belgium, one-handed, operating the throttle with his other hand, and Richard Ward's going for the lead down the inside. And he's through. Richard Ward leads. He's got a sniff of a first win in Club 100, and he's going for it. Reveller's not giving up on it though. He's getting good drive down the main straight into turn 1, and he's coming back through. Freddie Gallagher, what's he trying to signal there to Greg Aaron? Well, if it was get behind me, Greg Aaron's ignored him. He's gone straight through him. And here comes Hall. Hall through to 5th. Oh, nearly puts Gallagher in the tyres. It's Reveller, Ward, Luke Cousins, Greg Aaron, Miguel Hall and Freddie Gallagher. It's a 6-way dice for the lead. And we're on the penultimate lap. Oh, and Hall pushing his way through. Hall skirting with a penalty, I'm sure. But he's now through to 4th place. He's trying to get on the podium. The last lap board has gone out. James Reveller leads from Richard Ward. His cart sounds a bit off, but he seems to be driving round his problem. Down the inside, and here comes Freddie Gallagher pushing Greg Aaron out the way. It's getting personal between those two. Once again, the airbox rolls out of James Reveller's lap, and Richard Ward's looking for a way by. Luke Cousin trying to go around the outside. Miguel Hall's lining up to throw a banzai move in one of these corners. 2 corners from the finish, really. Garda is the last proper overtaking spot. Everybody goes narrow to cover. Luke Cousins is going to keep 3rd place. Richard Ward is heading for 2nd, and somehow James Reveller's going to hold on to take the win. Win number 6 for James Reveller. Another 2nd place to add to his 2nd place at Wilton for Richard Ward. Luke Cousins scores his 8th podium of the season in 3rd.
And in 3rd place, and first of our trophy winners, was Luke Cousins. 2nd place today, started on grid 2, was Richard Ward. This guy, he had pole, he's always down the sharp end. He's driven another brilliant race, won it quite comfortably, I think. Today's winner of final 1, James Reveller.
The last lightweight final of the day sees Daniel Truman, only 16th in the first final, starting in pole position. Final 1 winner James Reveller on the front row. His shadow Luke Cousins starts inside of row 2 with Greg Aaron on the outside, trying to repeat his win here in February. Richard Ward looks to improve on his 2nd place in final 1 from row 3 with the other winner from round 1, Miguel Hall. Andrew Green, Freddie Gallagher on row 4, Keith Segal and Rhys Terry rounds out the top 10, and it's 26 karts on the grid for final 2. It's been another wonderful day's karting in Club 100 in the sunshine at Buckmore Park. Red lights are on, we're waiting for the start. Daniel Truman controls the pace. You're looking at James Reveller. He's going for win number 7, and we're racing down to turn 1, and Reveller's trying to go round the outside. Luke Cousins trying to get on the bumper of Daniel Truman, but Truman's got the lead from Reveller into hairpin 1. The concertina's on, Andrew Green over the back of Miguel Hall, and he's not impressed with that. And it's 3, 4, 5 wide, and Kenan Vedat's run out of road on the entrance to hairpin number 2. Blasting into the S's, Rihanna Percox pushing through on Lauren Lassaur, and Julian Clist is trying to get a run down the inside into Simon Sweep. He does the right thing and backs out of that one. The leaders are already into Garda, and it's Truman, Reveller, Luke Cousins. Gap now to Richard Ward under pressure from Greg Aaron. Glenn Beard, so effectively we've got 6 breaking clear at the front, ahead of Keith Segal, who's come through well from grid 9. On board with Miguel Hall, looking to the inside, coming into turn 1 from a long way back. Oh, and he's nearly put Keith Segal in a spin, and it's a good job that Keith Segal's still running, because that would have been a penalty, which it still might be, because Miguel Hall has gone through. Freddie Gallagher now lining up Keith Segal for hairpin 2, easing his way through, and that's borderline as well. Oh, Freddie Gallagher pushing through in the S's. That's a little bit reckless as well. They're coming down, and Keith Segal's up the inside into Simon Sweep, but the position is Freddie Gallagher's. He's through to 8th place, and it's Keith Segal and Rihanna Percox on his bumper in 10th. Hands in the air, somebody off at the side of the road. Not quite sure who that is. It's Daniel Truman still leading James Reveller. 0.2 of a second is all the gap he's got, and Rihanna Percox was looking down the inside of Keith Segal into turn 1. Has she got it done? Not yet, but she's definitely trying again into hairpin 1. Lauren Lassaur down the inside of David Longman, and that's for 12th place. Looks as though Luke Cousins is trying to find a way past James Reveller. Failed to do it. He's on his bumper into Pullman's, and this is giving Daniel Truman a chance to pull out a few kart lengths. Richard Ward under pressure from Greg Aaron. Here comes Percox once again, trying to find a way past Keith Segal. She's up the inside into Garda. I think there might have been a little bit of contact, but Segal's run wide and she's through to 9th place. And it's Truman by 0.4 of a second ahead of James Reveller. Miguel Hall has put his foot down, wondering if that board out at start-finish was a driver standards board or a penalty. Richard Ward holding off Greg Aaron through the hairpins. Glenn Beard running wide onto the Gia block. Through the S's. Gap then to Gallagher. Gap to Percox. She's in 9th. Segal 10th. Andrew Green 11th. Lauren Lassaur. David Longman. Aaron McClure. James de Havilland trying to go round the outside of Oliver Knighton. Ooh, down the inside. Rhys Terry on Aaron McClure. Another lap goes in the boots, and here comes James Reveller. Oh, and it looks as though Kenan Vedat's been punted out. Reveller looking to the inside of Daniel Truman. Closing in, looking for a way by. Looking to the inside into hairpin 2. Has to back out of it. Miguel Hall's picked up a spot from Glenn Beard. Into the S's. Now Glenn Beard's modus operandi is to come straight back at anybody who puts a move in on him. Is he going to throw it down the inside of Paddock? Not close enough. Half a kart length down becomes a kart length and a half off the corner. Greg Aaron is still following Richard Ward, looking for a mistake. Truman continues to lead, and they're beginning to spread out. Luke Cousins is a comfortable 3rd place. Richard Ward under pressure from Greg Aaron. Keith Segal is managing to hold on to 10th place ahead of Andrew Green and David Longman, but for how much longer? Eased out the way by Green, and David Longman goes through to 10th. Probably a penalty for Green if it had been seen. I think he's got away with it because he's now down in 12th place. Downhill, and Reveller is closing in, and they're running in behind Tom Powell. Tom Powell, will he get in the way? Well, I think he's already put off Daniel Truman. He's down the inside and through, but he'll be slow out the corner. Look out for Reveller at turn 1. If not before, has to back out at Cafe Curve. Reveller looking for a way by in the lead. He'd be the 4th driver to score a double today if he can finish top of the podium. Truman now on the defensive, and here comes James Reveller. His wheels are inside, it's pod to pod. Oh, and Miguel Hall, very aggressive in both finals so far. He's through on Greg Aaron. So Hall is into the top 5. Richard Ward is released from Greg Aaron. And we've got 3 away at the front. It's Truman, Reveller, Luke Cousins. Truman went in quite deep into Garda. Had to tighten up the exit. Might pay for it at the end of the straight. Harrison Darville down the inside of Rhys Terry. Oh, and Reveller's looking once again. Can't get it done. And we're approaching halfway, and Reveller's looking down the inside into hairpin 1. It looks like just a matter of time now. James Reveller wants to be by, and Truman is narrow and on the defensive. Rhys Terry takes that position back from Harrison Darville. Terry through to 16th, and Aaron McClure is coming down the inside for 17th. And nearly tags Rhys Terry. And I think Darville's got a better run off that corner. He might have that position back by the time they get down to paddock. So sweeping in and through into the S's. Oh, McClure's pushed through on Darville, and Darville's pushed into Oliver Knighton, who I think's had a bounce off the tyres. He's still running. That will have got his attention. There's a penalty board out at start-finish. Can we see who it's for? Well, it hasn't been held up now. There's no numbers being shown. Here comes Keith Segal, Andrew Green, Julian Cliss. It's up now. Who's that for? Presumably looking at that was for Aaron McClure. Or possibly Harrison Darville. We'll find out post-race. Lauren Lassalle through on Andrew Green, and Oscar John Cook has caught up with this pair. Green's got the spot back. He stays in 12th place. James Reveller on the bumper of Daniel Truman out of paddock. Truman looks over his shoulder, and Reveller is right there on his bumper. They are pulling clear of Luke Cousins. It's a few kart lengths now. Over start finish. And Richard Ward is falling away in 4th place and into the clutches of Miguel Hall. Once again, Reveller closing in through turn 1. Truman narrow into hairpin 2. He'll be slow off the corner. Couldn't Reveller out drag him into the S's? Has to back out of it. And that's inviting in Luke Cousins. Perhaps that's Daniel Truman's plan, to push James Reveller back into Luke Cousins for them to start fighting, and he can pull away to the win. Richard Ward narrow and deep into paddock. And here comes Miguel Hall with a run up the inside into Garda. Oh, there's contact. Well, I'd say that one was about fair. And Greg Aaron is back in this dice, and Glenn Beard is not far away. On to lap 11. And Rihanna Percox is looking to go past Freddie Gallagher. He can hear her behind. He can feel her presence with the odd love tap on the back bumper, I'm sure. Daniel Truman's getting narrower and narrower into hairpin 2. I could see Reveller diving through at paddock at the end of one of these runs down the hill, through Syme Sweep into Pullman's, setting up and on the brakes into paddock. The leading trio go through, and then it's Hall, Ward, Aaron, Beard. Gap then to Gallagher, Percox, David Longman coming through in 10th. Andrew Green once again closing in on Keith Segal in the battle for 11th place. Lauren Lassalle looking down the inside of Garda. That's a good move. Runs Green out wide. It'll be slow off the corner. I wonder where Oscar John Cook is. Now James Reveller is forcing Daniel Truman narrow into hairpin 1. 2, they're slowing down. This is manna from heaven for Luke Cousins. He should be closing in quicker than he is. Into the S's. Down into Syme Sweep. Oh, he missed his apex there. Daniel Truman looking a bit ragged, and this must be a chance for James Reveller. Here he comes down the inside of Garda, side by side. He's through. Well, that was a mistake in Pullman's, compounded in paddock. It's just a few inches the wrong way on the racing line, or off the racing line rather. And James Reveller leads from Daniel Truman and Luke Cousins. As Truman got a response, he might be better following than leading. It's Reveller going in narrow into hairpin 1. Makes him slow off the corner, narrow into hairpin 2. He's looking just to survive into the S's, and then he'll sort it out and try and pull clear with a committed run down the hill and into Syme Sweep. And it's a couple of kart lengths down into paddock, and it looks as though James Reveller is pulling clear. We're cutting back to a battle to 18th place. James de Havilland ahead of Harrison Darville. Oliver Knighton pushing through in the S's. James Bailey on the wrong side, looking to the inside at Simon Sweet with Eric Mignol and Ben Knighton. On board with Freddie Gallagher. He's lost out to Glenn Beard. And Rihanna Percox is still trying to find a way by, and David Longman is as well. Glenn Beard in 7th. Percox, a love tap for Gallagher once again. She also gets one from David Longman. That's just done Freddie Gallagher a favour. Oh, and Lauren Lasalle locked up into the hairpin. Oh, and look at that. Between the three of them with Andrew Green, Lauren Lasalle and Keith Segal have ended up in the tyres on the exit of hairpin 1. Well, that was a strange one. Well, we're coming round to start the penultimate lap. James Reveler's lead is nearly half a second now ahead of Daniel Truman. James de Havilland diving through on Aaron McClure. Can he get it squared off and turned? Yes, he can. That was a good clean move, that one. One of the best of the day. Oliver Knighton now inside of Aaron McClure, giving him room. Well, between them, just enough. Rhys Terry coming through in 11th place. Oscar John Cook under pressure from Julian Clist. Into turn 1. Cook takes a look over his shoulder. Hands in the air for the recovering Lauren Lasalle. Harrison Darville trying to close on Aaron McClure. Best part of half a lap ahead. The battle for 5th place now is beginning to warm up. Richard Ward is holding off Glenn Beard. Freddie Gallagher, Rihanna Percox and David Longman in 10th place. The final lap board has gone out to this group. You're missing nothing at the front. Daniel Truman has pegged James Reveler at just under half a second. But with just over half a lap to go, it's looking in the bag now for James Reveler. It's going to take a mistake that we haven't seen so far. Luke Cousins is coming through in 3rd place. Kenan Vedat's been off the road. Miguel Hall now still has 4/10 on Greg Aaron. Just needs to get into paddock cleanly. And he's managed to do it. Ward in 6th, Beard 7th. Freddie Gallagher in 8th. Rihanna Percox. David Longman, your top 10. A 7th win and a 9th podium in 9 starts for the James Reveler bandwagon. Daniel Truman bags a 2nd podium of the season. Luke Cousins picks up yet another podium, but really needs to start winning. The deficit is still only 35 points to Reveler, but Luke needs to start winning and start winning at the next round at Clay Pigeon.
So in 3rd position today of final 2 was Luke Cousins. In 2nd position, he started on pole, but he couldn't manage to hold on. But 2nd again was Daniel Truman. As I said earlier, he's always at the sharp end, this guy. He's going to be in the clubman class for sure next season. But he's won both finals today, had a very good day. Once again, our winner of final 2, James Reveler. Well done, guys. Thanks very much, guys. We'll see you in the next round at Clay Pigeon.